The World Cup is supposed to be about football, the best players, the biggest stadiums, the loudest crowds. But in 2026, something very different is happening. One man has taken over the world's biggest sporting event, and his name is not a footballer. It is Donald Trump. FIFA gave him a peace prize. A country was blocked from competing because of him. An entire tournament was moved because he asked. And billions of dollars changed hands, quietly, behind closed doors, while the world was watching the pitch. This is not just a football story. This is a power story. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Stay with me until the end, because what Trump and FIFA have been doing behind closed doors will change how you watch the 2026 World Cup forever. Section 1, the biggest World Cup ever. Let's set the stage. FIFA World Cup 2026. 48 teams, 16 cities, 3 countries, USA, Canada, and Mexico. The biggest World Cup in history. An estimated $5 billion in economic impact for America alone. Billions more in television rights, sponsorships, merchandise. FIFA is projecting over $11 billion in revenue this cycle. $11 billion. For context, that is more than the GDP of some small nations. And at the center of all of it, standing on the biggest stage in world sport, is Donald Trump. Not as a spectator, not as a fan, but as the most powerful political figure this tournament has ever seen. And FIFA, the organization that has always claimed to keep sport and politics separate, let him in willingly. Section 2, the Peace Prize nobody asked for. Let's start with the moment that shocked the football world. In December 2025, FIFA President Gianni Infantino stood on stage at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. and awarded Donald Trump the FIFA Peace Prize. A prize that did not exist before that moment. FIFA created it, specifically for Trump. Trump stood on stage, wearing his medal, glowing. Now here is the part that nobody talked about loudly enough. Just weeks after receiving this peace prize, Trump sent us special forces to Venezuela, and then started a war with Iran. A peace prize, given to a man who would start a war weeks later, and FIFA said nothing. Because FIFA needed Trump, and Trump needed FIFA. It was a transaction disguised as an honor. Section 3, the Kennedy Center. The Peace Prize was just the beginning. The World Cup draw was originally planned for Las Vegas, exactly like the 1994 World Cup drive. Then the Trump administration made a suggestion. Move it to the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. FIFA agreed immediately. But here is what the deal actually looked like behind closed doors. FIFA got the venue for free. $0 rental fee in exchange. FIFA made a $2.4 million donation to the Kennedy Center and provided $5 million worth of sponsorship opportunities. $7.4 million for a venue change that was presented to the public as a prestige upgrade. And there is more. Trump had already taken over the Kennedy Center's Board of Trustees, forced out 19 members. There were even discussions about renaming it the Trump Kennedy Center. So FIFA was essentially paying $7.4 million into a venue that Trump personally controlled. That is not a sponsorship. That is something else entirely. Section 4, Iran blocked, countries threatened. Now let's talk about what happened to the countries that didn't play along. Iran qualified for the 2026 World Cup, a nation of 90 million people, passionate football fans. A legitimate team when it came time for the World Cup draw. USA refused to grant visas to several members of Iran's football delegation. Iran boycotted the draw entirely. Think about that. A country that qualified for the World Cup could not even attend the ceremony to find out who they would play because of American visa policy. And FIFA, the organization that claims to protect football from political interference, did nothing. But it goes even further back. In 2018, when the USA, Canada, and Mexico were bidding to host this very World Cup, Trump tweeted directly at other countries, warning them, telling them it would be a shame if nations that America supports voted against the US bid, using American political and economic power to influence a sporting vote. FIFA's own rules say governments cannot have undue influence on the bidding process. FIFA looked the other way because the money was too good. Section 5. The ticket price hypocrisy here is a moment that tells you everything about how this World Cup really works. World Cup 2026 ticket prices are the highest in history. Average fans, working class Americans, simply cannot afford them. And Donald Trump, The man who helped bring this tournament to America publicly complained about it. He said, and these are his words, "If the people from Queens and Brooklyn who voted for him cannot go, he would be disappointed." The man who used American political power to secure this tournament, who received a FIFA Peace Prize for his role in bringing it here, was now saying ordinary Americans cannot afford to attend. But he stopped short of actually doing anything about it, because he also admitted, in the same breath, that the tournament was breaking every financial record in the book. Record revenue, record ticket prices, record everything. And at the end of the day, that is what this World Cup is really about. Section 6. The most political World Cup ever. Step back and look at the full picture. FIFA gave Trump a fake peace prize. FIFA moved their draw to a venue Trump controls and paid $7.4 million for the privilege. Iran was blocked from the draw ceremony. Countries were threatened over their votes. Working-class fans cannot afford tickets. And Gianni Infantino, the man who promised to clean up FIFA after the 2015 corruption scandal, has visited Trump at the White House multiple times, joined him at international summits, relocated himself to Qatar, raising questions about his own independence. The ACLU has called this perhaps the worst moment for human rights in America since the civil rights movement. And the World Cup is happening right in the middle of it. FIFA once claimed that football unites the world. But in 2026, football has become another tool of power, another transaction, another deal made behind closed doors. The 2026 World Cup will be spectacular. The football will be incredible. The stadiums will be full. The goals will be celebrated. The world will watch. But underneath all of it, a quiet deal has already been made between the most powerful man in America and the most powerful organization in world football. And like every deal FIFA has ever made, the fans are the last to know. The beautiful game deserved better. It always does. If this opened your eyes, subscribe to Behind Billions. Every week, we expose how the world's most powerful people really operate. Because the truth is always darker than the scoreline.